All right. Three, two, one.
Welcome back, everybody. We are already into hour two. I hope you did enjoy the first hour. It was a great conversation with my amazing guest, Catherine Michelle. And now we are going to be getting into her books that she has written, which is super cool. And Catherine, this was a great conversation in the first hour. And now we're going to get into some of the books that you've written. You definitely have a new one that we're going to be talking about that you just have out for people to purchase and get. But you did write a book many years ago, and I want to kind of start with that because that's very interesting. You wrote this book years and years and years ago, and I just want to hear about what the experience you had with that book and if it was good or bad and what the book was about. Just let me know about this book, the first one that you ever wrote.
Um, this is the first one. It was titled Forever Love. And how it was done, it was from a publisher who was doing it was like a brand new idea at the time. And I think this was done in 2001 or something like that. Oh, 2000. And
Oh, wow.
And he was one of the first ones to actually put an entire book on a CD that you could read from your computer instead of holding it. Now, as an author, if somebody wanted a print copy, they would just print it out. This is still sealed, so otherwise I would open it and show you. But it's just like 2 columns, and it's just the whole book in this little package here. But the whole idea was just to get the CD. And this book it took me a long time to write this one too. And it all started with this one on a dare. Somebody said, somebody dared me because this one is a romance intrigue novel. So there's more romance to it. And because I was always such, the quiet little goody two shoes person, they're like, you would never write a romance novel with, smut in it or whatever, and I'm like, yeah, I would. So that was this book, and this is the one that was on sale on Amazon for like I said, it was in 2000 was when it was published, and I think Amazon finally took it off because they'll keep it on as long as you're making sales.
Mm-hmm.
But when sales start to drop, either the publisher will remove it or Amazon will remove it. And so Amazon removed it around 2015, 2016, somewhere around there. But so, yeah, it sold for a long time. And this is the one that it took me a lot of years to write, to edit, and get it, find a publisher, sign me on, right?
Right. Because I remember you talking about this in some of your other interviews. I remember, and you were saying, and that's why I was asking you about your experience with this first book, because you hear a lot, like you were saying, and you hear a lot about this, Catherine, in authors and art, music, that people really end up sometimes getting hurt by their first venture, whether it's author, like you just said, writing a book or putting out your own music. They kind of get burned right at the start, and it kind of leaves a bad taste in their mouth, kind of like it kind of makes them shy away in a lot of cases. And that's why I'm so glad that you came back to writing. But how, with this first book that you wrote, as you were saying, it's been out for a long time, and how was the whole experience? Like, what did you learn by doing this first book?
Exactly what you said. I learned I don't trust anybody
Mm-hmm.
anymore. And it's, it's sad because, like I said, I spent almost 8 years,
Wow.
from start to finish.
Yep.
And that included trying to find a publisher or an agent, and in this case, it was just a publisher. And so I spent a lot of time to get $0 out of this.
That's crazy.
Blood, sweat, tears. I mean, there's a lot that goes into writing books. And on this one, it was the Pure Vanilla series in the title, and it was from Book on Disc was the publisher at the time. And
I've never seen a book done that way before. This is the first time I've seen this.
Yeah, this, like I said, back in 2000, he was one of the first ones to actually publish books on CDs. Was the main thing only, so people could just buy it. And then, because at that time, laptops were really starting to become real popular. So they could just take the book and pop it in their hard drive and read it from their computer, because that's how you did it back in the day. I mean, nowadays it's, much different, as you know. You can get a reader or, go online and read like that. But yeah, back then you couldn't do that.
I still love reading the physical books. I've always been a collector of books. So yeah, I'm glad. Are you gonna I'm glad that I got back into reading, because for a while I kind of wasn't reading as often as I would. And then I just started interviewing authors such as yourself, and they would send me their books, so I would have to read them, and found out that I've interviewed some incredible authors, really creative people. And I'm fascinated by the whole process of writing books, because I've tried, and I basically have like 500 pages of a mess. It's a really interesting to me how you authors such as yourself do the process, which is I want to ask you about. Now, are you somebody who what is your writing process? Do you have a plan when you write, or do you just start writing a bunch of stuff down and kind of make sense of it later? I'm really interested in how you start the whole process of writing a book.
Yeah. When it comes to writing, you're either a plotter or a pantser. It's either a planner, a plotter, or a pantser. And so either you plan it all out and you plot it and you graph it all on paper, or you just sit down and open up a Word document and just start typing. That's what I do. It's like I'll get an idea, and then I'm like, once I can kind of go, okay, would this be a good story? Could I make this into a good? And if I can, I'll just sit down and just start typing. And it's just whatever comes in my brain until it's all, like at a time, I'll dump everything that's in my brain and then go back the next day or the day after that, and then just keep going from there. I never know where a story is going to go until it gets there.
That's interesting. I'm trying to think of what I would be, and I definitely kind of what I've written so far is, it's not strategically planned out. That's for sure. I think of when you say some people plan out their work, and I just kind of did a data dump of my life. I was just writing down everything I could think of, trying to capture that moment on paper, and then I kind of thought to myself, somebody else will make a sense of this mess and kind of help me. I guess that would be the editing process. And are you ever the first book that you're just speaking about? Are you going to ever re-release that? Do you want to get that out in a hard copy or paperback, whatever it is? But do you plan on getting that back out to the people?
Yes, I've actually started to, in order to get it, because this one was already, it's got its own ISBN, sent to Library of Congress, all that other stuff. So in order for me to be able to apply for a new copyright, I have to change quite a bit of it, which I've already done. I've gone in and taken out stuff and added more stuff in. So I've got so many irons in the fire right now. I'm working on 2 other books with Sophia. Oh, wow. One book I've written the first draft, and I'm just now starting the first revision. And we're about halfway to 2/3 done with the second book. And then the second book to the Incubus trilogy is with the Alpha Reader. So they're due to get that back to me pretty soon. And then once that happens is when the real major revisions will take place. And so, yeah, so somewhere in between.
Somewhere in between all the work you're doing. That's incredible. Yeah. And I hope you do get it. You get your first book out there and you do make some money off of this. It really angers me when I hear how people put, like you said, you put your hearts, your sweat and your tears and your hours and hours of work into these things, and then you don't see any reward at all. And somebody's making money, that's for sure. You can bet on it. And the fact that the person who created it, who wrote it, isn't seeing any money, really upsets me. And it goes with musicians too. Like you hear about this in the art world, musicians, everything. Like they're the last to see it, and it just frustrates me because they're the creative force behind these things. And so I just hope that now that you have more experience, you're going to get the first book out and rightfully so get some compensation for it. And Yeah, it just upsets me when I see people, artists for whatever genre, get taken advantage of.
Yeah,
It
because
just,
they always the attitude is, well, you're unknown, so if you want to get exposure, you need to do this for free. And it was the same thing with everything I've ever done, with music, with photography, especially with photography. Because the field is so competitive, it's so super competitive, even in the amateur field, which was where I was the amateur. I never, even though I've been published in magazines, I was still considered amateur.
Mhm.
But it's most of the time people just expect to, hey, you're not known, you're not what, so you need to do this for free. And if you want to get exposure, you have to, and it takes forever. Like before I got, it's like I first started off only using Paint Shop Pro, and I hadn't bought Lightroom at the time. And so it took me like 40, 50 hours to do one composite photograph.
Oh wow.
And, to take that and then you have to give it to somebody for free. You're like, this
Yeah.
isn't fair. So yeah, I just, there was, I finally stopped. I mean, I do it for fun now. And that's why I created the cover to this other, and I'm going to be doing covers for all of them now. So because
That's
I know
really
how,
cool.
I'm just, going to use that skill for my book.
For sure. And that's a great way to bring it in, because this is an exciting time for you, because you do have a new book that you just got out there, to just released it, and I'm excited to hear about it. I definitely want you to let them know the title. And well, I can let people know it is a trilogy. So this is going to be definitely, you said you're working on part 2 already. It's in the proofread kind of stage, alpha, I think you said, correct? Is that the term?
It's with the alpha reader. Yeah.
Alpha reading. Okay, there you go. I'm learning.
Yeah, that's the reader that you get like after, when you do your first brain dump and your script is all done. And so you find somebody who's willing to read that, and it's completely rough. I mean, there's all kinds of mistakes in it, but their only job, really, if you want to call it a job, is to say, okay, it has a beginning, a middle, and an end, and your characters kind of make sense. So the plot is there, still needs to be developed. You still have to make all these changes, but they just let you know, yes, there's no like major gaps, there's no major plot holes. And so
Awesome.
yeah,
That's really cool. I love learning things, and the terminology is really cool. And I've learned a lot already. The different types of authors that are out there, how they go about writing their books, and what you just talked about, very interesting to me. And as I was just saying it a little earlier, you wrote the first book, Had a Bad Experience, but I'm so glad that you didn't give up and you returned back to writing. And I want you definitely to let people know about your newest book, because this is exciting. And I love the cover. The fact that you said that you did the cover and you're going to be doing the covers is really cool, because I love the cover. And so talk about how this book got started and the process of writing it, because this is exciting. A trilogy, very cool.
Yeah, on this one, it was like just one day I was reading quotes, because sometimes I just do that. I find, people that I like. And so I'll just start reading quotes that they did. And so Henry David Thoreau's quote of, there are 1,000 hacking at the branches of evil to the one who is striking the root. And I read that quote and I'm like, man, that would make a really good story, right? And I didn't quite understand the entire premise. So then what I did is I just started to formulate it. I'm like, okay, I need to write a story about this. And it probably took about 6 months or so to get it together in my brain. And then, because I'd think about it and it's like, well, I don't know if I should do that. And then I'm like, because it was only going to be one book in the beginning, because I'm like, okay, but as the story went along, it got so big, I couldn't finish it in one. And so, yeah, that's how it became a trilogy.
Yeah, that's really that's yeah, because this is a thick one. It's going to be a really good read, and I'm already so happy to hear that the second part is already in the process of going through the stages to get it out and to the readers, which is really, really cool. I keep saying, I'm fascinated by authors and creative people because they inspire me. And writing is one of those things. I kind of always ask the people that I interview that are authors, I'm just like, the whole process really fascinates me, because it's such a creative talent to be able to do. And I'm really happy, Catherine, that you kind of like I said, you didn't give up. I mean, it took a little while, but you came back to it, and this is really cool. Now, can you let people? I know you can't give away too much, but can you let people know, kind of touch on what the first part of this trilogy, what people can expect in this book, and where it's going to kind of take them, and the journey they're going to be on?
It's about a couple, Ian and Levy, and they're a young, like a power couple. She's an ER nurse. He's a CFO for a law firm that his best friend has. And so, and they're in Chicago, and she just one night after another child comes in and he dies, right? And she's just like, I can't do this anymore. She just tells her husband, goes home and just like, I gotta move. I can't. And it was hard. It's hard for him because he loves his job. He loves Chicago because that's where he was born and raised. And so then, he's like, okay, I either go with my wife or she's going to leave me, right? Because she's determined, she's leaving. And then somehow, some way, and she doesn't quite understand, she ends up in a small town, River's Edge. And something that normally takes people a lot of time to get, all of a sudden things just start falling into place. And that should have been her first clue that maybe something wasn't quite right.
Right.
And instead of that being her first clue, she just falls into the trap. And then she, there's a cemetery in a forest, which is across the street from where their property line is. And all of a sudden she starts to notice that a particular tree moves places, right? Now, it's maple tree. I think it's maple tree. They don't generally move places, right? It's like at one part of the cemetery, and then it'll move to another part of the cemetery. And she's like going, what is going on? Well, pretty soon these trees, they kind of become like possessed by the demons from the underworld. So, and then it becomes, she's actually a target. So it becomes her battle to keep from being snatched, to be drawn, her or her son, to be snatched underground and taken to the underworld. So, she's trying to have a battle, by herself. So that's book one.
Wow, and this is right up my alley already. I can just tell, but because of what the topics that you're covering, and I wanted to ask you too, because I'm really interested, because writing a book, and I haven't done it yet. So, and I definitely haven't done a fiction. So, when you're writing the book and you're developing the characters, how hard, like, do you become attached? I've always wondered this. Do authors become attached to their characters? Because I'm thinking it, and I don't know from like experience because I haven't done it yet, but if I was writing a fiction book, I would think that the more I write about these characters, you're creating them from the ground up, and I would think you become attached to them. Does that happen when you write, and is that a tough thing? Because like, you have to sometimes do bad things to them, or maybe you're in control of their future, I guess, their fate. And I'm just wondering about that process. Like, did you become attached to the characters?
Yes, and I mean, you're right. Every author, everybody who writes, especially fiction novels, they're called your little darlings or your babies, right? That you're writing about. And you can't have everything honky-dory, right? Because if everything goes smoothly and everything's fine for your characters, it really makes for a boring story. So you have to do some pretty terrible things to these people that you create and you really do love. I mean, luckily, my favorite character, it's a side character. And I'm not sure why, but this is just, it was my absolutely favorite character. And I love him so much, which is probably why I didn't destroy him. So I destroy other people in there because I'm like, I got to protect him. He's my baby. But yes, it's really, really hard, but you have to, in order to keep that, keep people on the edge, keep them turning that page. If there's not some type of sense of loss, or, is there something evil coming this way, then people aren't going to be interested. They'll go, oh, okay, yeah, I'm bored, and then they put it down.
Right, yeah, because as I was just saying, I would become, I know I would, like, I would, because there's got to be some of you, I would think, and any author that is kind of writing something, I think there's probably elements and pieces of who you are in each character to some degree, and is that the case in this first book? Is there parts of you in these characters that you've noticed that are kind of creep their way in?
Yes, and experiences too. I kind of rewrite the experience, because as you know, as an EMT, worked in an ER. Right. So I rewrite them so that you can't identify, because that's what we have to be careful of. As EMTs, we can't discuss, so people would be able to figure out, oh, we know who that is. I just take my medical experiences and I rewrite them and put them in stories. So, but yeah, as far as the characters, like, especially, I think my favorite male character I wrote actually was the MMC, which is the male main character. You have an MMC and an FMC. You have the female main character and the male main character, or your protagonist. And in this one, it's the husband and wife, Ian and Levy. I loved writing Ian, and unfortunately, he doesn't have a big part. I mean, he's here in this book, but it's not a super big part. But it's almost like I could relate to him better, which is really weird, than I could to her. But yeah, it's interesting. You really do put, part of who you are into every character you write. Or people you don't know and you don't like. Like if you want to get even with somebody, yeah, you write their character traits. Those really bad flaws that drive you crazy. You put them part of the antagonist.
It's a good way to use alchemy to take that negativity and turn it into something creative and therapeutic, I guess, would be a good way to look at it. So I get it. I think that's really, I find it really interesting. I truly do. Because I've been a reader. Like I love reading and I love the physical books in my hand, as I was just saying earlier. And a big fan. I like true crime. I definitely like the occult stuff and fiction is a big one for me too. I really enjoy that. And so I like the occult aspects of stuff like that. Were you able to add in some, like a lot, will people find some occult stuff in there? Some maybe numerology? Is there any kind of like hidden little Easter eggs in there that people that kind of look into this or are familiar with it will notice in the book?
Yes, actually, there was quite a bit. In fact, when I first wrote this book, the whole entire premise of it was going to be a Dan Brown and a Stephen King mashup. So, because Dan Brown writes a lot of stuff like that.
Yep.
And a lot of people, like a lot of my initial readers, they were just completely lost because they're like, well, why is this here? Why is that there? And I'm just like going, you got to read the story, keep going, right? But, people, when they get to a part they either don't understand or they're not into, they would just stop reading. So with the help of the editor, actually quite a bit of it was taken out, but there's still a lot in here. I left it here just because, like you said, they're going to be Easter eggs. Anybody who knows the conspiracy theories of, what is it? I'm trying to think of it. What's the one where maybe it's numerology, where, like numbers all have like some type of cultic meaning.
Yes. Yeah. Numerology. Yeah.
Okay. There are a lot of numbers in this book and they all have a meaning. Everybody's name means something. And there's an alchemy. In fact, the prophecy that's foretold in the story is written in alchemy symbols on a cave wall down close to where kind of like the entrance to the underworld. And so when they get, one of them is taken down there and then they see this alchemy symbols and stuff, and they start reading what's on the wall because, one of the subjects they had studied as a side course through their college courses. And then they're like, oh, wow, this is not good, because they figured it out.
Very, very cool. And you brought up the editor. I'm also really interested in this process. How important is that process to getting the book completed? Because I would think it's really important because in my case, I have 5 pages of just confusion basically. There's definitely a book in there somewhere, but I think the editor is probably so
Yeah.
important. And I would love you to kind of talk about how important the editor was and in the process of getting this book to where it is.
Yeah, and so I would say for someone in your position, it's like if you really want to get your story, uh, organized and actually written out, then you might want to work with a ghostwriter.
Okay.
Because before it gets sent to an editor, you really need to have a manuscript as succinct as you can possibly make it, as tightly written as you can make it.
Okay.
And then you would find, try to start, then you send it to an editor, because then they go in and then they find all the stuff that you missed. And trust me, you cannot have, you have to have thick skin, absolutely, because they are brutal, but it makes the story so much better, right? So and then when it comes back, and then you have to go through and do the last and final revision. Now you don't have to take everything that they say, every critique. You don't have to make every change. Like there's two things in there I kept for sure. And the reason why I kept them is because the editor, did not know that those were vital parts to the story coming up, right?
Okay.
So I had to leave those in, but I reworded it and worked it better and made it flow with her suggestions. But yeah, I mean, an editor is vital. They're absolutely vital. Just, I had two separate editors. I had a line editor, and they were the ones who checked the grammar and the spelling throughout the whole entire manuscript. But then I had the editorial assessment editor, and she was one who went in and read the whole thing and said, okay, you need to drop this. And she was right. It's like, this part, cut that entire section out, get rid of that, rewrite this, and think about doing this here. And instead of having this part here, why don't you reword it? And so when I got done, I'm like, oh my God, she was so right. It just, the story flowed so much better.
Oh, that's really and I like the way you said you had to have a thick skin because I can
Mhm.
imagine how true that really is. Because with anything with music, I know when I'm speaking with my musician friends and I come to them with a really cool drum beat or something like that, you learn how to have thick skin really quick because you think you've done something great, and they're like, "No, we're gonna change this, and we're gonna kind of it's not that good," and you do. I mean, but that's the whole. That's how you get better. Is what I'm trying to say. Like you need that critique in that, but you have to have that thick skin. And I get what you're saying, like because you send them this. This is your work. You poured your heart into this
Mhm.
project, and then you have somebody that comes and kind of starts tearing it all apart. But as you said perfectly, it's to make things better. It can be a positive thing, is what I'm trying to say, if you look
Yes.
at it that way.
Exactly. And that is their whole job. Like Greg was saying, is like, be like an alligator, have thick skin.
For
And
sure.
you really, really do. Things have to bounce off you, but you have to absorb the critique, right? And you have to absorb what's being suggested. But again, nobody says you have to make every single change, but you have to remember, they're the professionals. They're the ones who's in that industry. They know what sells and how things must be put together in order to sell it. So, you have to be wise as serpent, right?
Hmm.
And so,
No, it makes sense, and it's good. It's good advice for everything. There's healthy critique, and I even
yes.
do that for my radio shows and my interviews and stuff. I'm more than open to hear people's healthy criticisms and critiques, and to make things better. I get it, and that's how you get better.
Mhm.
You gotta kind of sometimes hear the truth, and you may not like it at the time, but if you take it in and absorb it in a positive way, and it's done in a good way. You can be a total asshole about it, but if you do it in a good way, a critique, as you said, I think that's really healthy for anyone who's creative. So I'm glad we kind of touched on that. Now you did touch on the cover, which I love. I love the cover. I think it suits the story perfectly, and it's really cool that you had a part in designing this cover. And I was telling you at first the red eyes in the background. I kept thinking it was a glare off like where I read. I was a glare. I'm like, what is this? Is it a glare? Is it? And then I started. I'm like, oh, she snuck something in. You got to tell me about the process of the cover because it's amazing. It suits it perfectly. It's a great cover, I think.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. That's a perfect picture of it. So yeah, there's the
Here's
demon
my
in
glare.
Now the red eyes play throughout the entire trilogy, and the demons, that's how you know that the demon is following you, chasing you, or trying to get you. It's like those red eyes that, it's generally the first thing you see because the demon will blend in with shadows. And so in this particular the photograph, how I put this one together, the angel type, thing in the trees, right? That looks like a branch. She's got branch
So
wings
cool.
or whatever. Those are like, imagine that, like I said, the trees within the cemetery, and they are now possessed. So they become these beings, and the demon behind it is incubus. And so since incubus is, the Lord, and for them, their god, their ruler, they, of course, they bow to him and they do his bidding, and this is one of the demons getting ready to do his bidding.
Very cool. And so you, with your being a professional photographer, you took this image and kind of just worked on it and made it your own, like really worked and added
Well,
some layers. Like, how did you? I'm fascinated because I like making thumbnails for my videos. Nothing this cool, but
yeah,
I love it.
the top photo, the one of the angel with the with the wings that looks like tree branches, and that's I've edited that photo though, so it's not the original photo. It was done by okay, I'm part of Pixabay now. If you it's free to become a member at Pixabay, and they have royalty-free photographs, but you have to use them as part of something, right?
Right.
So it's for composite work. I've used their photographs for a long time, and it was by someone called Mate Jerry 647. So MATEJERRY 647. And I was, because I knew I wanted the demon in there, but everything I was coming up with, it just didn't look right. I'm like, oh, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? So, I mean, the demon was okay, but what I was putting on top of it and layering with it wasn't looking right. So I just went into Pixabay and started doing word searches. And then this came up. There's this particular person on their site, and they had several real similar. So I'll be using his work for all three.
Oh, very
cool. Yeah. So but again, this is not his original photo. I've altered it. And, but yeah, I as soon as I saw that, and it just made me think of the cemetery scene in the book. And I'm like, I know what to do with this picture. And so, yeah. And then I was able to use my demon and put it in with this one. And I'm like, oh, it worked.
It worked perfect. Yeah. I think a good cover really is something. I say that about music too. Like a good album cover can make you do strange things, like good album art. I bought some great like bad albums. They just had great art on the front. I was like, oh, gotta have it. Gotta be a good album. And it's just funny. So I always say, like, it's so important how it looks. And you did a great job putting the cover on it. I think it suits it, especially the story that you're trying to tell. And you kind of touched on book 2, and I don't, like I keep saying, Catherine, I don't want you to give away a lot because I want people to actually get the books and read them. But what is part 2 going to be focusing on? Is it more of the character inner journey? Is it like what I definitely, you explain what the first one is about, but where is the book 2 going to take the readers?
Book 2 is going to be based around the child in this one, except for now he's an adult. And, his human parents have thought that they thought they had him protected, right? And when as a scene and stuff starts to open up in that one, you find out that he's been in touch with Incubus the entire time, and Incubus comes to him and is like, okay, it's time for you to take your position, because he's the prophesied child. And so it becomes his journey and his battle as a man to he's got a wife, he's got a mom and dad, and he's got a job he loves, but now he's got that pull of the demon side of him that's starting to take over. So it becomes the human versus the demon battle within himself, and a lot of things that take place because of that battle within.
Incredible. It's so much like real life when I hear you describe that, that this is this inner battle that we all, I think, struggle with, is that good and evil, and we're seeing it playing out in the world before our eyes. So I think it's going to be a story that really hits home with people, because it is something that all of us struggle with. I know I do. It's that internal battle, you know.
I mean, we all do. If you think back to even old cartoons, there was a little angel and a devil, right? One on each side of their shoulders. That was always the thing. So are you going to listen to the devil today, or are you going to listen to the angel? That's kind of like what it is. It's the human experience, and the decisions we make. Are they going to be a good decision? Are they going to be a bad decision? And are you a bad person because you make a bad decision? And that answer is no, but we still struggle with that within ourselves, right? We start to go, oh, I must be a horrible person because I just made this really bad choice. So he struggles a lot with a lot of different things in this book. And the second book.
Yeah, that's going to be real. I'm looking forward to that. I love the inner battle, because it is something that we all go through, as we were just saying. So I think it's really cool that you've incorporated that into part 2 of the trilogy. And I just think this is so interesting. It's right up my alley. This is the type of stuff I love reading. And I'm so happy, Catherine, and that you returned to writing and you got this book out, and you're working it. Like I said, you got the second one you're working on, and this is really cool. I'm looking forward to reading the second one. And I definitely want to ask you, where can people pick up this book? Because I want to make sure that we give people a chance to go and pick up a copy of this book. I highly recommend it. It's a great read, and please let people know where they can get it.
It's right now it's only for sale on Amazon. You can either get the paperback or the ebook. I'm planning on trying to find, because I don't know how to work this yet. I'm still learning how to get it into an audiobook form. But that is not done because that takes a long time. You have to find the right narrators, and it just takes forever to get that done. So I
think you should read it. That's my suggestion.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I could read what I wrote. It's bad enough I have to know I wrote it.
I get that too. I don't. Yeah, but I think that's my suggestion. I think it'd be really cool because, as we were saying earlier, you're very close to the characters and the feelings that they're going through and parts of the story and stuff. It just is a suggestion, but I get it that it would be hard to read your own work. So I hope you do get it in an audiobook. I love audiobooks. I don't like reading stuff off a screen. Like I tried Kindles and stuff like that, and I get super migraines from trying to read it. So I've always preferred a physical copy, but I love audiobooks for when I'm outside or something or doing something in the house. I can put the headset on and kind of listen. So I do hope you do that. That would be really, really cool. Do you plan on getting your books into bookstores? And I would love to see you go do signings too. Like I think it'd be great for you to go meet your readers and your supporters and kind of get yourself out there and talk to them. Is there any works? Is that in the works at all, or are you hoping to do that?
Yes. Yeah. First I have to get it onto Ingram Spark and get all of that all set up. But life has not been, kind and given me time to get like that done. But once I get that done, then I can try to get it into the library. I can go and have independent bookstores, because they will stock, especially local authors. They're super supportive where I'm at of local authors.
Oh, that's good.
But
good.
Yeah, it was really, really, really interesting. There's like 3 separate bookstores that support local book authors. And but they will not do it off of Amazon, so it's got to be from Ingram Spark. So yeah, and then too, I mean, like right now I could call Barnes and Noble and set up a signing there. But again, I just have to get the time to get it done. And yeah, I've already spoken with them and they're like, sure, absolutely.
Oh, that'd be great.
Yeah, they're super supportive too of local, authors. And so that's kind of exciting. So there is a lot of stuff coming down the way, but it's
It's time, yeah, and then the loopholes you got to jump through, like you were just describing, to get it out there in the bookstores and that. But the positive side is that once you do that, then you're all set. And I do hope you do some signings and go, at least go to the local ones, and because I think it'd be really cool and important to meet your readers and get their feedback and stuff like that. I just think it's important. I love face to face when you can do it. Like, this is great. But I think you're the same way. You must prefer face to face and in person. So I think that's a great way to connect. And I just know from experience with the local musicians in my town, like if I can go and see them and talk to them and at their merch table and stuff, there's just something about meeting them and getting to know them that's missing in this tech world now. So very, very cool, Catherine. And I also want to give you a chance, because I know we're kind of running out on time here. Can you let people know about your YouTube channel? Because you have some great stuff there. You cover a lot of stuff here. You talk about the David Crowley case, and you talk about some of the books you recommend and what you're reading, which I do want to ask you before you give everyone your YouTube channel. What is piquing your interest now? I haven't seen you do a video lately about what you're reading or what you have read. What are you into?
It's because I feel so guilty, because I'm like going, especially now that my book's out, it's like, okay, because there are some books that I have read and I'm just like, how did this ever get published? I mean, it's bad, right? But books are subjective, right?
That's true.
I do. There are certain authors out there, and I've tried to read them. I have tried to read Sarah J. Maas. I've never tried Colleen Hoover. I just don't like her stuff. I've read it. I've read a couple of Frida McFadden books, and I'm sorry, no. They're and I know they're super, super popular, right? Mm-hmm. And so many people love them. And I'm like, God bless you, enjoy it. For me, it was like, no, I tried. And I was so bored. And I'm like, I'm always like, if I don't like a book, I'm always like, I want to throw it out a window. And I literally would have thrown those out a window. So for me, but like my favorite authors is Jagger Cole, Scarlett St. Clair, Lucy Score, and these are romance writers. Lucy Score is a comedy and I never thought I would like romance, because before my like thriller type favorite authors, Dean Koontz, medical thrillers, Robin Cook,
yes,
horror Stephen King.
Yep.
So those are the type, and then true crime. Those were the type of books I was always reading. And then Sophia last year, because I used to go, oh, okay, come on, really? Romance books? This is just stupid. But oh my gosh, she got me started on the rom-coms.
Okay.
I never laughed so hard in my life. I would just be tears. I mean, like C.R. Jane, they're called the Pucking Wrong series. Okay, like the Pucking Wrong Number, Pucking Wrong Guy, because it's all based on hockey players, right?
Right.
And they are so, I would just tears. I was laughing so hard. And I'm like, oh, okay, wait, I can get into this. And, and same with Lucy Score. Oh my gosh, she's a rom-com and she is hilarious. T.L. Swan is really good. But like for the dark romance novels, it's dark for a reason. My favorite is Jagger Cole. That man can write a book. I've read, I don't know how many of his books, but there's only one I didn't really care for. And it broke my heart to give it a bad review, but I had to be honest, right? I'm like, I don't mean to do this to Jagger, but was just, but the rest of them, I mean, I think I have 2 series by him, and I think I've read them probably 4 times each.
Oh wow.
Yeah, the first series is 4 books, and the second series, the first series 6 books, the second series 4 books. And yeah, I've read them a lot. So
that's really cool. Yeah, I see, we have very similar taste in authors for a lot of it, like Dean Koontz, definitely Stephen King. Stephen King was one of the first books that I ever read at full, like a book that I read of that caliber. Like, I mean, in school I read some books and stuff like that, but I remember in the hospital, I was at like the little souvenir shop, and they had like a little thin book rack, and Stephen King's new book, The Dark Half, came out, and I read that, and I remember through that whole book, Catherine, like till like the last probably 30 pages, I didn't know I was like, I don't get what's going on. This is complicated. And I kept going, and I would go to the book, the the gift shop and talk to the lady there, the older lady, and I'd say, like, I really don't get what's going on. She's like, you got to keep going. It's going to make sense at the end, which it did. But that was the book that she said you probably picked one of the most complicated Stephen King stories for your first experience. And then after that, I was off to the races. I got his style of writing and I read everything and a huge fan. But yeah, that was my first experience with Stephen King.
Did you
The
ever
Dark.
read Dreamcatcher?
I love it. Oh my God, I have all his books. Are you kidding me?
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, what got me hooked on Dean Koontz was his Odd Thomas series. And that's really when I first got my first foot or taste into like the paranormal type novels. And I mean, nobody, and I've read several, and no one can touch Dean Koontz on this with the Odd Thomas series. It is chef's kiss, the best, series, and I loved it. It's one of my favorites. So when he had to finally stop and close off that series, I cried.
Yeah,
like,
well, yeah.
Oh, no, I wanted to keep going. I loved Odd Thomas.
Now, would you say to people that haven't read that series or read that author, is that a hard read? Like, I always make it say hard read, and I just mean like it's I consider Stephen King a hard read for beginners kind of thing, like new to reading. Do you think that, would you recommend Dean Koontz? Do you think it's a hard read or is it an easy read? If you know what I mean, it's kind of hard to explain.
No, it's not a hard read at all. I mean, for me, the hard reads would be like Robin Cook, because he does medical mysteries and medical thrillers. Yeah. So, if you don't understand medical lingo, it's going to be a little bit more difficult. But yeah, with Dean Koontz, I mean, he's so good at writing things like to the point, and what they say, if you can say something in one word instead of three, I mean, the guy's got it down pat. And
sure.
he's
very cool.
Yeah. And in his, even though, of course, there's twists and turns like every book should have. But like you said, with Stephen King, I mean, it's like the premise of his books is to really be a complete mystery until he reveals it all. Yep. And with Dean, he's telling a story the whole time. So you get sucked into a story instead of trying to figure out, these complicated issues.
Right. No, you perfectly explained, and I just had to ask. I'm glad we got to that because I got to keep the eye on the time. But I definitely wanted to make sure we get let people know about your YouTube channel. As I was saying before, I got asking you another question, which I am famous for doing near the end of an interview. But I definitely would like people to check out your website. As I was saying, you do a lot. You've looked into the David. Geez, I got Stephen King on mind now. Sorry, David Crowley case, and you've, like I said, done book reviews and that, and all these great things. So you got a lot of great content there. Can you let people know where to find you on YouTube?
Yes, I'm on my YouTube channel is Catherine Michele Investigates David Crowley. And like he was saying, it's, I do book reviews. There's lots and lots and lots on the case. And then sometimes it's just some weird off topic.
Yeah, it's great, and I hope people go and check out your channel. It's like you were just saying, there's so much there, and it's a great channel. And you can also check out my channel. Of course, you should know it by now, guys, but please check it out. It's on YouTube, Crypt Bricks. I've been thinking. That's where I do all my video interviews, and I'm starting to do more. I got another one that's going to be going up this week. So I do focus mostly on radio, doing interviews such as this, but I do like doing the video interviews, and with winter coming, it gives me time to do more. So please check out my channel as well. And please check out my show, which is on a new show. It's a local show at my local radio station, which is Amherst Island Radio. And I would love for you guys to check it out. Greg's doing a great job bringing that up. And that's my Saturday show. And you can check out the show there, which is from 10 p.m. to midnight. And that's on Saturdays, Eastern Standard Time. So that's new. That's kind of exciting too. So it's really cool, Catherine. You have exciting things happening with your new book. I'm so proud of you. It's amazing. I'm looking forward to your part 2 and the part 3 of this trilogy. I think it's going to be really cool. And who knows, maybe there's going to be more than a trilogy. Who knows if this takes off? It could be a 5 series. What do you think of that?
That scares me.
And if you put any thought into 3, the third book, do you have an idea of where it's going to go and end?
I'm halfway done with book 3, but it's like I'm having a hard time finishing it. I know where it needs to go. You know how you said you don't want to Take out your little darlings and your babies. And I won't say which character or characters are going to end, and it might not even be somebody you see coming. And but I still I'm not. I mean, I know what I need to do, but I'm not ready to write
You're
it.
not ready to do it. I get it. I knew you were going to say that too. It's like, I know what I got to do to some of these characters, and I'd be in the same boat, Catherine. I don't know, man. Like, I'd be like, how can I save them? And I can see why, like, even in movies, they keep bringing characters back somehow.
Mhm.
It's like, oh, they brought them back again. And it's like, because I think you fall in love with the character, and then your readers are going to fall in love with these characters or hate them. So I get it. Yeah.
Just gonna kill them.
Yeah, just kill them. So cool. Well, thank you so much, Catherine, for doing this interview. It was such a great 2 hours, and I'm definitely going to have you back on the show in the future to continue this. I love our conversations, and so people are listening know Catherine was the first person I ever interviewed for my YouTube channel on the David Crowley case, and that was a few years back. And she was kind enough to come on. I had no idea what I was doing, and it was my first interview, and I think it was such a great interview that we did. And so I would love to have you back in the future to talk about your second book when it comes out of this trilogy, and talk about the Crowley case again. I mean, I'm really down to having you back. And I just want to say to everybody listening, please go and check out Catherine's book, go purchase it, and support an author, support somebody who's creative and trying to get their work out there. This is really important, especially now. So all the best, Catherine. This was awesome. I really enjoyed this.
Thank you, Rick. You're always fun. I love doing shows with you.
That's cool. That's awesome. And there you go, guys. And I know Greg's in the background. Greg, you can come and tune in now because you're going to be the one editing this. So I thought I ended it pretty well. And then you can come and give your thoughts now. We can keep the show going a little bit. If Catherine's down, I'm down to sit for a little bit and just chat.
Where did he go? Well,
there he is.
There I am.
Since you stuck me on camera, I'm bringing you on camera.
This has been fun, guys. This was awesome. Yeah, there's a few times I just dropped a couple chats in there just to kind of share some of my thoughts. But I think this was great. I think that was perfect. It was a great show. I was so happy to hear about it. Catherine, you did mention about a audiobook version. So I do think, I did an audiobook version. Today is actually September 11th. That's not going to make the local radio show, but and so I did a book on that, and it only cost me about $500 to get that done. So maybe we can talk about that later on.
Are you using like actual people or AI narrators?
No. These were real people, and it was cool because through this company, what you did is you kind of gave them a sample and said, okay, so you give them this little sample, and there were about 5 or 6 people that they kind of did their own thing. So I kind of felt bad. It's like, I don't want too many people doing it because I don't want them to waste their time on it when I know what voice that I'm looking for. I know who I'm looking for. So basically they just kind of ran through it. They sent a sample, they did their own pitch, and then I was able to pick the person that I thought would do best. And based on the number of pages, this is where your book this may cost a little bit more. Mine was only about 200 pages or so that yours may be a little bit more, but it's based on the word count. So, and
word count or hours finished work.
I've had people say that.
I think it's on the word count. It's on the word count. That's what I was quoted on, and the quote matched pretty much. It's actually a little bit lower than what it actually cost me. But then then they just I had that, and acx.com, I believe it was, and so I was gonna do the David Crowley book through them too if I ever wanted to do another audio book, but you should definitely look into that. I think that will be really good for you.
I've had people say, because I do radio, I should do audiobooks, and I'm not lying. I've had a few people say I should look into it because it'd be a good way to make some money, and I'm just like, maybe.
It's a lot of work.
It's a lot of like, and I would have to really set up a studio for it.
For the person doing it, it is a lot of work.
Yeah.
And so, because I had thought about, well, maybe I'll just do it for my own book. Or it's like, nope, I don't have the time, I don't have the patience, and no, it's
and then you have to do the acting part of it too. So because you have to go with the emotions of the character, and I'm just like, I don't think I want to do that.
Yeah. So save your time, spend a little bit more money, and you could have that right there. So I think it's definitely worth at least looking into.
Yeah, I mean, it can't hurt, right? I mean, I know that, like you said, I know the type of voice I want for each character. And so, but what I found, because I went somewhere just trying, I mean, okay, I did find out that romance narrators, because I found some really good guide romance narrators. There's Aiden Snow, Jason Clark, Teddy Hamilton. I mean, these guys, especially Aiden Snow, I mean, that guy's like, whoo, right? It's like, oh my God, I love that man's voice. But they only do romance. Strictly romance. And so I don't know who does horror. Who else has a deep, they call it a baritone, but I think his voice is more like on the bass level instead of a baritone.
You need like a James Earl Jones. It sounds like what you're looking for, like a Darth Vader, right?
Well, and not quite that grungy, but I mean, I love James. I love his voice too. I mean, he's got a really good voice, but yeah, if you haven't heard it, I mean, you're a guy, so you wouldn't get it. But trust me, Aiden Snow's like, okay, where's the water? I need the ice.
But it's true what you guys are saying, that how important choosing who's reading your book is, because that's really important. Like, I never thought of that, to be honest. It's like, oh, you just get somebody to read your book, but who does it? That is make or break, to be honest.
That was the cool thing, was that I got to hear it from different people, from at least 5 or 6 different voices, before I realized, okay, this is the voice that I want for this book. That doesn't mean I want that person for any future books, but when you know the tone of the book and everything. And so the more that I go back and I listen to that, I'm really glad that I chose that person, because I had many choices, and I felt bad because I felt like I was wasting their time once I knew exactly the voice that I want. And they were so quick. It was like, these people are pros. They are ready. You put in that pitch and they are ready. They have that script. They read that script. It's like a 3-4 minute script. And they send it back to you, and you say yay or nay. And this is where you guys were talking about having thick skin.
Yes.
Because if you don't have that, it's going to be really hard to do anything. Even doing what we're doing now, of just going live. If somebody comes on the comments and says, you guys all suck, I mean, you have to have that thick skin to say, okay, well, that's what they think. But there are some people that don't have that. I'm worried about the generations, and I'm worried about people who just say, you know what, I don't even want to take that chance, because I was one of those people. Like, you don't even want to take that chance to say, you know what, I want to write this book, and if it doesn't do well, or if it doesn't do great, it doesn't matter. It's hard to have that thick skin to say, you know what, I want to write this for me. Or are you writing it to be famous? Are you writing it because other people may like it? Because then you're in the spot where maybe they like this book, but they may not like your second book because they're expecting something. So what are you writing for?
It should be for you. Absolutely. I mean, first and foremost, you need to write what it is that your heart is telling you to write. And then you can't go wrong, because whatever you put out, you're going to be happy with. But if you're writing to please others, you can never please people. It's like, you may get 1 or 2, but then what if you get 10 that go, oh, you know what, we think that was kind of garbage, and then they get their, like you said, they'll get their feelings hurt and kind of run and hide. But you can't do that. It's like, if you're writing for yourself, it's always going to be good, and you're always going to be satisfied.
Yep. Do what you're passionate about. I try to inspire people so much on my radio show, because it frustrates me. And I'm glad this kind of came up, because I think it's something that's lacking, and everybody's got enough people around them that'll tell you that you can't do something, and which will discourage you. And then I always say, the worst person to discourage you is yourself. And I can't count how many times in my life I've talked myself out of doing something that I really wanted to do. That negative, that's the battle, this internal battle that Catherine and I were talking about. You have this battle, and it's a battle of wits, I guess, kind of outsmarting yourself. But I've talked myself out of a lot of things, and I refuse to let that happen for a long time now. And but you always have people around you that'll tell you that you can't do something or don't like what you're doing, and you have to kind of block that out. And like you and like Greg and Catherine just said, you have to kind of do it because you want to do it and you're passionate about it, and that's enough to me. And so yeah, if I would have listened to people, I wouldn't be drumming right now. I wouldn't be doing music. I wouldn't be doing a lot of things. And you have to kind of just drown out the noise and believe in yourself. And
yeah,
so
and then you're and especially with music, and for me, you would be missing a piece of your soul that you're now making happy. You're fulfilling that part of you.
Yep.
And why go without because somebody may not like it? That's crazy. So definitely do it, and talk yourself. It's like don't be your own worst enemy. And oftentimes we're our worst critic, our worst enemy. And so it's like toss that out, and you have to just do it. Put that one foot in front of the other, and if it scares you, it's all the more reason you need to do it.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, nobody. That's why I laugh when people try to say stuff about me. I'm like, you cannot say anything to me that I have not said worse to myself. Believe me, nobody's got a more of a forked tongue than I do when it comes to talking about myself. That internal dialogue, not so much now, but I have in the past, and I'm very aware of it now. And you have to be conscious of it, but it's true. And we need inspiration. We need a lot of things in this crazy world right now, but I think encouraging people to, especially creative people, is so important. And you have to support people that are doing it too. Like it's so important to encourage people. And I want to see people do good. I'm one of those people. I love to hear success stories and hear people's life stories and stuff. And that's why I interview people, because I think it's amazing. And I think people have a lot of information, their stories are very full of information of what to do and what not to do. And I think it helps to hear people's stories, and then it helps to inspire people. I want to see people do great things. Gets me excited when I hear success stories. So when I hear Catherine's putting out a new book and has a new book out, she's working on a trilogy, a huge accomplishment. 3 books? Are you kidding me? Greg's putting out books. That encourages me. I love that. That inspires me to want to keep doing what I'm creating. So it's important. This stuff matters.
It does. It really does.
Yeah, and there was something that Catherine said where you said that in the first hour you had said that your mom, she didn't want to teach you music, right? Something like that.
Yeah,
but that didn't stop you.
That's right.
That didn't stop you, right?
My mom was a pianist, right? And I mean, she was really good. I mean, like really good. And as I grew up, I would just say, can you teach me how to play? Because I would just sit there, and this is, I didn't know how to read music or anything at the time, and before I ever started to play an instrument. And she's like, no, I don't want to. And she would never give me lessons. She would never teach me. So what I did is then when I think it was 8th grade, I started playing the clarinet. I'm like, fine, I'm going to learn this stuff on my own. So I got a clarinet, and then I learned how to read music through a clarinet. And then I switched to a flute. And then when I got better with that, and then my mom actually got a piano at home, because we didn't always have a piano. But when we did, it's like, I just love to hear her play. So then I just said, you know what, I'm going to go. And I'm like, okay, Mom, where's middle C, right? So I could read music, but I'm like, where's the key? And she goes, well, this is C, dot, dot, dot. And then, so she did the octave, but it's the same thing. It repeats throughout the whole thing. And the black keys are either sharp or flat. And I'm like, oh, okay. So then since I could read music and I knew where the keys were and I knew time, the timing. So I just started to learn and taught myself.
So there were times where you would ask her questions and she would answer those questions, right?
Yeah, I like where's middle C on the piano. That would be it.
Yeah. But it took me Catherine's initiative and drive to learn.
Well, and it was it was so frustrating because, I had begged her to please give me piano lessons. And I was like, no. So I get sent away to boarding school and for 1 year. And when I come back, she's having piano lessons being given to my younger sister who hated it. She never wanted to learn how to play.
Wow.
And I don't know if you guys have ever heard of the Christian group, the Heritage Singers. They were super popular in the 70s and 80s, but they're still around today. But at that time, what was his name? Bob somebody or other. He was a piano player for the Heritage Singers, right? They would travel all over the world. They were super famous. But we knew the group. And so when I came home and I found Bob Silverman, I bet that's his name. So yeah. Max,
you're quick on that, Greg. Holy jeez.
So when you look at the I think it was Bob Silverman when this from, like I said, back from the 70s. And yeah, those are really good albums. I love those albums. I have them. But when I came home and I found my sister getting lessons from Bob, I'm like, what is this? I was devastated. I'm like going, what? And my sister's like, I don't want to take these lessons. And so Bob finally told my mom, he's like, you're kind of wasting your money and your time, so he just stopped coming over. And I'm like, oh. So that's when I really decided, it's like, you know what? I'm just going to teach myself. So then my absolute favorite, one of my favorite pieces to play is called The Holy City. I don't know if you guys know that one.
Nope, I'm gonna check it out.
I'll find it because I have it back here. But it's not easy to play, but my mom used to play it and I go, I'm going to learn how to play that because it has rolls and it, where you're crossing hands and, more than octaves. And then you've got hands, octaves doing with this hand and then chords with this hand. So it's a lot of dexterity. And so I taught myself how to do that one. And then I came home from school and I said, okay, Mom, look what I can do. And then she would go, hey, let's play a piano piece together. So she'd get out a sheet music and she'd do one hand and I'd do the other.
Very cool. I just found it, so I got to check that out after we're done.
There are several versions of the Holy City.
Okay.
So,
okay.
Let me go get my copy. Hold on.
Okay. That's cool. Yeah, I love talking. Well, Greg, you like talking music too.
Oh yeah.
Me and you love talking about music. We're going to be doing a music show for the local station in a couple of weeks, which is going to be awesome.
That's going to be great. I don't know, Rick, if you know that there is a new Lindsey Buckingham and Stevie Nicks album that's about to come out on September 19th.
Really?
So I'm going to make a couple of those songs part of our show here. I do apologize for kind of having to push it back. I think you understand the reasons why.
Yeah, totally, man. Yeah,
but
we'll make it happen.
Going to make that happen. But I really love the fact that this is kind of like old music, but it's new music because it's remastered. They've released three songs, and I'm like, I wonder if there's some of the other Fleetwood Mac, our drummer, the main drummer from that. He is my favorite drummer. He's better than Phil Collins. I'll put it like that. But I kind of wonder, listening to the three songs that they have put out so far, I really wonder if, like, how much did they remaster? It has led me down this whole rabbit hole, which is good. I love the good, positive rabbit holes where it's a music rabbit hole.
It's
right. Not a violent, dark, rabbit hole, which me and Catherine and we've all been down before. Yeah. So it isn't like we're just going down those rabbit holes. There are some good rabbit holes, some fun rabbit holes to go down to. And I think Catherine's music experience, especially starting with her childhood, because that did struck a chord with me. It's like, man, as a parent, if I don't have any musical knowledge, I don't have any musical gifts, I can't play it, but it's kind of sad, Catherine, that your mom didn't want to teach you that, and then you come back and you find, and I'm wondering, if, because you said you were off to boarding school and then you came back.
Yeah,
and I wonder if
weekends,
is there a possibility that maybe your mom kind of was some regret that maybe no regret that okay, so I didn't
nope. No, it was one of those. Yeah, it was one of those like, see, okay. So, I'm giving her lessons. You asked, but she gets them. It was one of those situations.
Okay. Oh, it was okay. So it's more of a childish thing where, like, okay, I want this toy, And
well, it was like, no, with my mom, it was more like, I know you want this, but I'm not going to let you have it, but I'm going to give it to somebody else.
Okay,
You know,
I see
kind
that.
of like to try to pit you against each other. I was never angry at my sister, you know, which is kind of what it felt like. That's what she was trying to do, pit us against each other. But I was mad at her because I'm like, I've been begging you for years to give me piano lessons and you refused.
That's crazy. Like,
So,
you think she
so
want to
like,
give the gift of music? Like, what a beautiful gift, and she could have given you that. And then you have those memories too of learning from your mother and sitting there learning. That'd be a missed
well, I think,
opportunity.
yeah, and one of the great things is, and I think it's on one of your channels here, Catherine. I don't know if I don't think I'll get a strike for playing it, but maybe I could actually play the song that you have put out.
That's from my album. Yeah, no, it won't be copyrighted because it's complete public domain.
Okay, so if you don't mind, maybe I'll play this.
Yeah.
Go ahead if you want to. If you have any reservations, don't mean to put you on the spot or anything.
Oh no! It doesn't bother me. I've sung that song so many times, but it was on my album, the album I did.
And I think this is the only song you have on your YouTube channel from
your
album. Is that right?
Yeah, it is, because it was the only one that I had put onto the computer that I had, and then the CD drive stopped working, and yeah, it's just lots of. Well, okay. Two, also people complained because they're like, "Well, this is really a garbage video," and I'm like, it's all I had at the time. It's all I had, and it's all I could do. They're like, you really should do better. You know, one of those things.
I would have said, "Where's your video?" Like, like, geez.
I'm sorry. This is all I had. So, you know, at that point, there was just so many things going on in life. So many, I had concerts, and I just said, forget it, because I didn't have anybody to help me.
Are you rocking a black turtleneck?
Yes.
That is badass. I love black. Anyway, sorry. I didn't know you had an album out. This is how far.
Well, it's not out for sale. This was, you know, as you can see, it was a long time ago. And and because it has the name of my ex-husband, and it was a bad, I don't want to bring down the discussion, but it was a very bad situation. And he almost killed me. So because it had that name, I just threw them all away. And my friend, she rescued a box of the CDs. So she has a carton of them, but I just got rid of everything because I didn't want to see his name on anything.
Yeah. That's incredible though. I love creativity. This is what we were talking about during the interview. Like, I mean, and I like the perseverance too. You taught yourself, and I love that. It's like, okay, you're not going to teach me, I'll figure it out on my own. And that's what the world is lacking too, is people taking the initiative and learning things. And I run into it with people I'm trying to interview. A lot of the times they won't take the time to even learn Discord and to come on and do the interview. And it's like, you got to take, and then Catherine shocked me because she we were planning it for a couple of weeks, and then she did it all on her own. Like there was no problem, Greg, when I got a hold of her on Discord. She's like, oh, I already went through the settings and I think I got it all working. Sounded incredible. And I was just like, we need more people like this that take the initiative, but it shows because you learned how to play these instruments. You figured out piano because you wanted to learn how to play piano. Mm-hmm. And then you became a singer like that. These are amazing feats and accomplishments they should be very proud of. And I know that you're saying, like, I get it, that this album, there's some darkness around it, but I hope you return to singing. I hope that's something you also visit like you did writing this book. I think that you should.
Yeah, it was something that I really, I mean, I love to do it. And like the largest audience I sang in front of, it was either 5,000 or 10,000 people.
Wow, that's a lot of people.
Yeah, it was a lot, a whole lot. And then I sang at my, and then before that, I sang. I was they chose 2 soloists for our high school graduation, and there were 3,500 people there, and I was one of those. But for concerts, I think it was 5,000 or 10,000. That was the largest audience I had. But then I also had smaller audiences where they were maybe 10. So you never knew what was going on.
That's incredible. You got to fire this song up there, Greg. I got to hear it.
It probably won't be up your alley, but that's okay.
All right, let me fire this up.
Yeah, I want to hear it. Let's do it.
All right, here we go.
Like a river attended my way, when sorrows like sea billows roll. Whatever my lot, thou hast taught me to say, it is well with my soul. It is well with my soul, with my soul. It is well with my soul. My sin, oh, the bliss of this glorious thought. My sin, not in part, but the whole, is nailed to the cross, and I bear it no more. Praise the Lord, oh my soul. It is well with my soul, with my soul. It is well with my soul. And Lord, haste the day when my faith shall be sight. The cross be rolled back as a scroll. The trump shall resound, and the Lord shall descend. Even so, it is well with my soul. It is well with my soul, with my soul. It is well with my soul. It is well with my soul. It is well with my
Wow. You need to get back to singing. Holy.
I have so many questions about that. I think the first question is, why you chose that song. The second question is, who is doing the backups?
This was recorded in Nashville, Tennessee, at the Soup Kitchen. And these are at the time you could get performance CDs, and so you pay for the rights. But this particular one is public domain, so I didn't have to pay. But the other songs on there that were not public domain, you have to contact who owns, the rights to it. You get their permission and you pay the royalty fees up front. And so you do all of that. And once you get all the paperwork showing you have the right to use these songs, then you take them along with the CDs that you have and drove out to Nashville. And my sound guy, my producer, his name is Dean Newkirk, fabulous guy. And I chose the song because it's one of my absolutely favorite songs, but it's the song I really dislike the most on the album. And it's because we did this song last. And so after I had been in the studio singing for 10 hours straight is when they're like, okay, we're ready to do the last song. And I'm like, I couldn't even talk. And I'm like, this is a hard song. And they're like, we got to get it done today. And we have like 20 minutes to do it. And I'm like, oh no. So I'm not happy with this, the take on this at all, but it is what it is. And I think I literally could not talk for two to 3 days afterwards. So for not having a voice and having to sing for 10 hours straight, I think I did pretty good.
It's awesome.
I think so too. I think so too. All right. And so how did you end up in Tennessee to be able to record this?
Well, I mean, it's hard to go back there. This was all my ex-husband's doing. He was all about making money off of me any way he could. And when he found out that I used to sing, he's like, oh, we're going to start doing this again. And so he started signing me up for competitions. And I'm like, but I don't really want to do this right now because I was trying to get into photography. Mm-hmm. Most of those pictures that you saw in there, like all except for 2 were photographs that I took.
Oh, wow.
And so I was trying to learn photography, and that was where but he's like, no, we can make money off this. We're going to start doing this. And so, so he took my money, started buying all this stuff and started setting up dates. And then one day he's like, okay, we're heading out to Nashville on this day. You need to go take time off from work. And, we're driving out there. And I'm like, okay. But on the drive out there, where were we going? I think it was through, I don't know which state it was. It was one of the middle states, but there was such a massive dust storm that they literally shut down the freeway because you couldn't barely see at all. And there were cops that had the things down. And so, and I'm like going, you know what? I have to record tomorrow. Breathing in dust for 3 hours. This is not going to be good for my voice. And he's like, we're doing it anyway. So he went around, and then, so yeah, it was a nightmare. It was like one of the worst experiences of my life. But the sound guy was fabulous. I mean, he worked with me so much when, like my voice was so strained. And like I said, I couldn't talk. And so he would walk me through it, and he'd be like, okay, go drink some more water, then come back. Now here's what you need to do to get this note. And he was fabulous. Absolutely great.
Yeah, that's incredible. And you got a great eye for photography. Wow. And some great pictures there. And I love photography because my wife does photography, and she's just got that gift too. And you have it as well, Catherine. Like, there's some great pictures in there.
Yeah, there are 3 states. That's California. That's down by the Bay Area. That is in Alaska. That's Alaska. And then there's other ones. That's Colorado. So, I mean, I have 3 different states and through all these photos. California.
Yeah, you got the eye. You are so creative. Jeez, I love creativity. I keep saying that, but I do. And I can't sing. I mean, I sing, my cats go running, and
oh wait, that's Cozumel. So here's another one.
I really want to hear Rick sing.
I
really want that. I need that.
No, you don't want me to sing. Yeah, my cats run and like go under the bed and stuff. Like, I sing in the shower, and that's good enough. But my cats are just like, no.
That's what I want for our YouTube channels. I think that's good YouTube.
Me, no,
Hey,
you got me doing enough promos and bumpers all the time. Do some more. Send them to me.
let's do so. We should do karaoke, Rick.
Oh my God. Oh, it'd be rough, man. Like you can sing. You'd just be looking at me going, oh my God, stick to radio.
Oh,
No, no, no,
a
no.
karaoke show would be so fun, though.
It would be fun. I would love to go to a bar with you guys and just have a few drinks and karaoke it up. It'd be fun. I'd get Greg up there doing all these hip hop songs that he's never heard of.
Don't get me going, because it's hard to get me to stop. That's the problem.
And that's the sand dunes in Colorado.
This is amazing work.
This is beautiful.
Yeah.
It's just a beautiful. Even if I love the music with it, obviously, but yeah, it's
That's in
beautiful.
Colorado, up there by Divide.
Yeah,
And
see,
that's
you got
where
the
we-
eye.
Yeah, that's where we live. That was okay, that's North Carolina. So there are lots of different places in there. Yeah, and that's Alaska. I just love that mountain.
Looks beautiful. Are you still doing photography? Like, tell me you are.
No.
Why are you not doing? I get it. Life gets in the way. I get it, Catherine. But geez,
Well, it's like because everything takes. I love the sand dunes. Now that's the great sand dunes in Colorado.
That's amazing.
Southern Colorado, and that's Alaska, and then the Cozumel. But yeah, so I've been to all these places, loved them. But and that's my favorite sunset photo I ever took. But to do it and then to edit it and to get it so that the photos are decent just takes so much time. So it's like I either do that or I write. So right now I'm writing.
I hope you get back to it. I hope you visit it again because you really got a talent there. And same with singing and everything. But I get there's only so many hours in a day and you're writing and you're doing other things. And I get it. But it's just I hope you go back to it and visit it again.
But here's, if you want to look it up, this is The Holy City by
okay.
Weatherly and music by Stephen Adams.
Okay.
And like I said, it starts off like real easy, right? Super, super easy. But then as it goes along, I'll show you
super easy. Don't worry about it, guys.
Oh, that's easy. But then it starts going along like this, where you're starting to use two hands. And then we've got the rolls, and then we've got the ending. So for me it was hard to learn this one, but once I got it down, it's like it would probably take me about a week or so because it's been so long since I played the piano. So it'd probably take me about a week or so to get back to be able to play it again.
Yeah, that looked tough. I'm familiar now because I can read drum sheet music, so I'm looking at that going, ooh. Like I can tell the complexity as it goes on, and the fact that you taught yourself that I that just like I keep saying inspires me, and it shows that if you put some will behind it and you really want to do something, you can do it, and and it just frustrates me when people would I wish I would play guitar, or I wish I tried doing this or why
do it.
You
have to do it.
Yeah, it's like what's the worst that's going to happen is you don't like it. Or and okay, then you don't do it again. But how do you know until you try? Like I tried doing a presentation for the Funnel Conference, the Freedom Under Natural Law Conference, and I'd never done a presentation before, and I did it. I'm happy I did it. Would I do another one? Probably not. Not my thing. But I'm glad I did it. And I would have never known if I didn't do it. And then I would have been wondering, I don't know, maybe I would have been great at it. But you got to try.
Yeah, you can't let fear stop you. I mean, you really got to get out there and do it.
Yeah.
Through it.
And what's worse than like singing? I can't even imagine being in front of that many people, Catherine. Oh my God.
Well, and singing is so hard, especially, I know a lot of people don't like hymns and like that type of music, but I am telling you, that is some of the hardest music to sing because it takes so much control to hit these notes just right. It's almost like trying to sing opera, right? Because that takes... I mean, you take an opera singer with, say Beyonce. I'm sorry, the opera singer is the talented one. Beyonce is just a joke. I mean, because this person has got skills. And so, it takes so much more training. And I was grateful that I, through school, I got a music scholarship for college from high school when I graduated, that I was awarded a scholarship for music in college. And so because of that, I was able to get a lot of training from really good people, and some of it one-on-one. And
That's cool.
I was blessed. I was so blessed. And I'm thankful. I'm so thankful for those experiences. But if I hadn't stepped out, I never would have done it.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's kind of cool because I noticed that, I don't know, I attract the creative people for some reason. I don't know if it's a mutual attraction thing going on, but I seem to draw them to me. These people that are super creative, the more I get to know them, and it's really cool. And you're definitely a woman of many surprises. I had no idea that I knew you sang because we talked about it in the first part of the interview, but um, I didn't know you had an album out, and I didn't know that. Like, I'm learning these things. I knew you played piano. I can't remember if you ever mentioned that you were playing clarinet and all these things. Like, you've definitely got this creative. Uh, this it's a big part of you, I think. This creativity, and it comes out in many different ways, and I love that. It expresses itself at different times, and so you got your piano playing and all these instruments, and then you got your voice, and then then you got your photography, then you got and I imagine you probably painted in your life and stuff. It wouldn't surprise me. You do it. I'm sure you've done more creative things.
Yeah, I had one drawing.
See,
I entered a competition.
Yep.
It's if you remember, I don't know if you're old enough, but back in the day, matchbooks used to have like little turtles or whatever.
Yes.
And then you would draw that, and then if you wrote in, they would send you something else, and then they would rate your artistry.
Mm-hmm.
And so they're like, so I did that. I think I did the turtle. I sent it in. Then they sent me this other one, and it was a house, right? So a house scene. But so I did the house, but I don't use like rulers or anything. I did it all freehand, and it almost didn't look like it. Almost looked like I'd used a ruler. So I did this house in this landscape, and then I sent in. Then they wanted other work, so then I sent in a flower that I had drawn freehand and something else. Well, they kept it, and they're like, okay, we're going to put this on display. So they put it on display in the museum in Minneapolis.
That's so cool. See, that creativity though, like you have it, and Greg has it too. Yeah, I love it.
Yeah. I mean, I told you I'm a jack of all trades, but master of none.
I love that. I'd have it no other way. Yeah, I'd have it no other way because I think that it's really colorful. It adds a lot of color to who you are, and creativity expresses itself at different times in different ways. In my life, I've drawn. I'm a great drawer. I've been drawing since my mom said since I could hold a crayon, I was drawing. And then that led to tattooing for a while and stuff. And then I got into music. I always loved music, but then I started playing drums when I was 51. Like, how does that even happen? But I did it.
Great.
I love it. Yeah.
So Rick, how did you start from drawing, and then how did you get the courage to say, you know what, I can actually make some tattoos? Like it's a transition. It's a big
it is. I've always loved tattoos from the time I remember. I was really young, and my uncle had a prison tattoo because he came out of prison, but I didn't know that at the time. He was just my uncle, and he had a spider on his back, and I would just sit there and stare at it. I was fascinated by tattoos from as early as I can remember, and that was another thing I picked up. Somebody said you should try tattooing, and I was like, I love tattoos. And back in the day, and you guys would probably even remember, like tattooing wasn't like this 30, 40 years ago. It was a very secretive thing. Like you had to know somebody to teach you. You had like even tattoo machines. You had to know somebody that would build one or figure out how to build one of your own. It's not like now where you can go on eBay and these sites and Amazon and buy tattoo equipment. Like it just wasn't, that didn't happen 35 years ago. It was a very, very select elite group, and you had to pay somebody tons of money to learn how to tattoo. Now you can learn it all on YouTube. You can literally learn pretty much anything. That's the one thing YouTube is good for. If there's anything good for YouTube, you can learn almost anything. And I started watching YouTube videos and figured it out, and then used myself as a guinea pig. Basically, that's what you did. Like I did it the old school way, and then I just you learn, you figure it out.
That's impressive.
Yeah, it's nervy. Like, and I was always nervous tattooing people for a long time, but I had great clients and friends and people that were so supportive. They knew I was new. Like, I would never lie to anybody. I'm like, listen, I've only been tattooing for like a month, like, and I wouldn't try to do something that was over my ability. I'd have people that wanted portraits. I'm like, no, that's not my floor. I do more traditional tattoos. When you think of military tattoo styles, very bold lines, simple color, that's my favorite because it's what I remember. And yeah,
Can you do the Goldberg tattoo? If somebody
uh,
asks you to,
yeah, tribal, that's not hard.
but there's something weird about the Goldberg one, right?
Yeah, well, weird. I've seen another wrestler with the same one, which is weird. I can't remember who the wrestler is, but I've seen it on another person, and I was like, that looks like Goldberg's tattoo and stuff. And yeah, so you have to
Are there
figure out
are
who that is. But yeah, tribal to me, tribal's boring to me because it's just coloring it in black. But it's kind of interesting how my tattooing insight helped with the David Crowley case
Yep.
because yeah, I know what tattoos do in the skin. I know what time does to a tattoo because I'm covered in them, and I just know that things when they don't look right, and I know when they do look right, and I just understand because the skin's always changing, and so yeah, tattoos start to take like you just know, like, you just know when you tattoo. It's like anything else. If you're around it enough, you know it, and yeah, it's just interesting with the Crowley case.
Yeah, I think one things, and I'm sure Catherine has some thoughts on this too. One crazy thing about the Crowley case is they use the tats to actually identify them, or at least to try to identify them.
Mhm.
But once you have these tats on your body, it's a indicator. Okay, where did they get them, when did they get them, how old were they, is
Hmm.
another thing. And you can, I mean, the cops are just looking at photos, they're just looking at the social media, they're going through all of this stuff trying to figure out, okay, trying to find anything, which is good, I think. But obviously that's all after they had already told us that the case is solved.
Oh yeah.
Everything.
I remember when Catherine was showing the tattoos, she's probably got videos of it still on her YouTube channel. I remember messaging Catherine saying, I can tell you right now, 100% that the one black tattoo that David had, it was a rough heal. I can tell by looking at it that he healed rough. And in tattoo lingo, it just means there was probably scabbing and it was probably done too deep or he just had a rough heal for whatever reason. But I can tell by looking at it. I was just like, wow, that was a rough heal. And then Kamala's, I don't know what's going on with that one. I've seen Catherine explain it and stuff. I've stood on my head trying to figure out what angle. I can't figure it out. I don't know what
Well,
that.
and see, and this is where being an artist myself and then also photographer, I mean, I look for details. And
Mhm.
so when there's like an S on her side in a photo where she's in a bikini top and shorts, and so there's designs and then like an S and then more design, and then you look at the body and it has a design,
Mhm.
there's no S and then a design. I'm like, why is that missing? If this is supposed to be her, why is that missing? And then the other section where it has this little tiny, where it kind of goes up almost like a pi signal, but symbol, but it's not, but it's similar. So it goes up like this little tiny line and it comes down. And then on the body, when it's not that bloated, it's like this. I mean, it's like this long instead of this long. And I'm sorry, the body was not bloated that much to stretch it out that big. And so, I mean, so between the line, that one line being too long, and then the other one having that S part completely not on the body at all, but it's on her in the photograph, I'm like, this
Hmm.
isn't her, not her.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. And I'm glad that we even talking about this because I'm gonna have to do another radio show, bring up the Crowley. I want to keep the Crowley case at least in people's minds because I don't want people to forget. And Greg just was talking a while back. You had Eric on, and you guys got into the Crowley case again, Greg. And I love to hear that when you do, and when Catherine kind of touches on it and stuff like that. I think it's important that we keep. I try to bring it up every once in a while on radio and remind people, and then point them to Greg's site and your site, Catherine, and stuff to get the information on it, because I really hope it gets looked into again someday. I mean, it's just frustrating.
Yeah, I think there was one thing, Rick, where I know you and Catherine were talking about it, and I wanted to jump through my screen here and say, as you were saying a couple times, and I understand this point of view where people say that the Crowley case is closed or that the police said is closed. They've never said that the case is closed. This case is not closed.
It's adjudicated. So the adjudicated means that they, according to the law. Now, here's the thing, though, since it's
they don't
murder,
even say that, though, right?
Yeah, they do. Yeah, They do say
they say it's exceptionally cleared.
But when you talk to them, and they either sent me an email or it's part of
no.
one of the letters.
Yeah, I mean, even when I talked to Jim Gummert, he said, yeah, the case is closed. They can say that, but the only thing you can find official in their documents is that it is exceptionally cleared. I haven't found anything else in the official documents or anything like that to say it's anything else than that. But
well, okay, I'll have to see that. That's a good point. I'll have to see where I saw it, because they either told me it personally or I saw it on a document that they had sent to me where it said it had been adjudicated. Now, if it's adjudicated, it's closed, they've decided it, whatever. However, since it is a triple homicide, if new evidence pops up, they can then reopen it. But that's the problem with the attorney, the city attorney, because she put a block on sending out any more information, which you can't do, claiming that since it's murder and it can be reopened at any time, so you guys can't have the documents. Like, no. You've adjudicated, aka closed that case. You solved it to your own satisfaction. So we are entitled to those documents, and they just won't give us any. And I think it's because we were finding all their mistakes, and they're like, oh, these guys are causing us trouble.
Could be. It's crazy they won't give it to you either, right? Like it's like, okay.
Yeah, because legally we are entitled to have them.
That's right.
Yeah, and right around that time that we got all of these documents, and we were promised, we have the emails, we were promised all of these other documents. Then comes Tony Floyd. Then all of a sudden, all this stuff gets leaked. Then all of a sudden we have documents. Then they start releasing some documents. Then there's some stuff. Then there comes the fake document. And then there comes this complete halt, almost as if what they were trying to feed to us was actually part of whatever program, whatever plan they were actually doing. And maybe I fed right into it.
Well, and what I think what part of that, and I think you're right, that's always my thought process as well, is because I would always tell them, it's like, keep it up, because the more you do it, if you want me to shut up, then just quit, leave us alone. But then, they never would. So then what do? They leave us alone. And what do? I stopped looking into it, right? And now I'm like, like you just said, I fed right into it.
Yep.
Wow. Yeah, are you going to do geez, I should have asked this during the interview. Are you ever going to do a book on this case, Catherine? Like, and I hope that you do, and I hope Greg does a part 2, because Greg said many times during his in many interviews that when he wrote the book, there's stuff that came out way after the fact. So I think it needs a part 2 for sure. And I would love to see Catherine write a book. You are writing one. What's going on? I'm remembering. Are you not doing one with Sophia, or am I thinking something different?
Sophia and I are doing the books. We're doing our romance thriller novels.
Oh,
but,
okay.
But with Greg, I mean, Greg did get a whole bunch of people to get a second book done. And it was like, I wrote a couple chapters for that one.
Okay, that's cool. Because I think that's, no, I think, are you going to do it? That book's going to come out, right, Greg? Obviously. It's in the process.
Yes,
yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
Really?
Yeah, I really don't know. I think that the information is good. I think the information is out there, but as far as his second book, yeah, I really don't know at this point.
I hope you do the one where at least release the one where Catherine and everybody adds in their thoughts on it. I think that'd be
There's
really
too
good.
many problems. There's too many problems with it, and it's hard when you have. And I'm sure, when you talk about your collaborating with other people, even with a song, and I've tried to collaborate with other people with music, and it can be a problem. Sometimes it's just better to do your own. Everybody just kind of do your own thing, do your own book. There are certain people that I would still love to do that project with, but there are people that I would definitely not want to do that project with.
Hmm. Yeah, I never thought of the problems collaborating. And the only thing I can do for an example is when I have many people on a radio show, like a round table, it becomes chaotic. The more people you start adding in, so I would imagine the more people you have adding into a book, it probably becomes chaotic. I would think.
Yeah, it's like you want to include everybody.
Mm-hmm.
That was the idea. I think the idea was good to try to include everybody. Everybody get their own chapter and get their own thing, and it just became so much of a mess that I just felt like, you know what, I gotta move on to other stuff.
Well, it makes sense. Makes sense. I get it. Very cool, man. This was fun. I'm enjoying this. I didn't think I'd be on camera, but I'm here.
Yeah, I'm
And
surprised you're still up, man.
well, no, I'm up now, and I'm happy that I was so bummed out when I was like, geez, we gotta redo it and stuff like that. And I'm so glad we did because I enjoyed
I am
this,
too.
and I've learned so much about Catherine. Again, like I said, I didn't know that she had an element and all these things, and can rock a black turtleneck. Awesome. Um, I'm just bugging you, but no, very cool. I enjoy these conversations. I don't do them a lot. I'm not on camera a whole lot, but
See,
unless I'm
my
doing an
kids
interview,
make fun of me for wearing a turtleneck.
I love it.
I love
Really,
turtlenecks.
That was probably the style, though. I mean, come on,
absolutely, it was
everybody
back
was
then.
doing it. But
Yeah, and I don't care if it's style or not. I'll wear it no matter what. I'm not a style follower. No. If I like it, I'm going to wear it. I don't care if anybody says it.
I love black turtle. I love black turtle. Like for me, black turtlenecks, they're amazing. They're
Yeah.
so yeah. So yeah, you rock that turtleneck. Don't let nobody tell you any different. We'll bring it
I
back.
just
We'll
love
bring it
my
back into
turtleneck.
style.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. But no,
Exactly. Yeah. People are dead.
you just blame Rick for focusing on the turtleneck. I
I
think
just noticed it right away. I was like, hey, because I like them. So and I had to have some fun.
Well, because
Jeez.
it was cold the day we took that. My ex-husband took that photo, and it was just so cold because we're standing outside, and I'm like going, okay, I've got to have a turtleneck and a sweater because I wasn't gonna, couldn't wear a coat, and
yeah,
Yeah, big winter coat. Yeah, great picture.
yeah.
because there was
That was another thing that kind of triggered me, Catherine, when you were talking about that. It's like because I knew so many people who just these great female singers who just wanted to do something with they wanted to do something, and there was always this guy in the background that this guy is a creep. This guy is what is this guy doing? He's not about you. It's not focused on you. It's all about him.
Mm-hmm.
And I used to see people in our studio, and then I'd see that, and it's like, man, these people are not, and they spend a lot of money. They'll spend the money on you, but in the end, it's all about them. It's not about how awesome you or how great your voice is, or that you can sing, or that, hey, let's do something good here. This is one of the best things I love about the digital age, because it has allowed so many people who just want to make some good songs, who just want to make good music. You have those options now, and unfortunately, a lot of kids nowadays take that for granted, and they just do their own thing with it. But,
Yeah, I think the same with like writing your books. You can self-publish and all of that. I think that's a positive thing too. That you've cut out these. I call them leeches. Like that's what they are. They just blatantly, like, especially in the music world, they rob musicians. It's horrible. Like what happens to these musicians that are out there doing the work. They're like I was saying to Catherine during the interview, like, with her first book, she's the one that put all her blood, sweat, and tears into it, creativity, and somebody's making money. It's not her, but you can bet your ass somebody's making money off of it. And it just frustrates me because you have these people, like Greg said, that are not in it for the betterment of the artist. they're in it for their own selfish reasons. And it just, how many people get left at the wayside that are amazing talents, whether it's writing, musicians, painting, whatever it is, they get kind of left in the behind and just kind of used up. It's frustrating. And so I'm glad, like Greg said, that you brought that up, that, you know, with the digital age, you can kind of take control of your own destiny and with your creativity, which is a positive.
Yeah. And that's exactly why, you know, I didn't push to try to find an agent or another publisher for this book. I just said, you know what, I'm going to self-publish. And just because, you know, whatever I make on it, you know, well, first I've got to get out there and promote it, right? Like we're doing now, because I haven't really done that, but get it out there. But because I want to make something off of it this time. I don't want just everybody else to get the money. And then I just sit there and go, okay, glad I'm making you money.
Making you money. Yeah. Yeah, you should be. You should be compensated. Absolutely. It's your creativity. It's, yeah, absolutely. I totally agree. So
yeah, and it's, you know, and I think that's really what, I mean, I love singing. There are still times when, you know, I have a playlist on YouTube, right? And so there are still days when you just get it. It's in your soul. So you have to sing because there's just nothing else you can do. And so I'm like, okay, I'll start cleaning. And then I just go through my list and sing for like a couple of hours, go through all the songs and sing them. So I'm glad he didn't destroy all of that. But, you know, having someone who is so terrible, you know, suck the joy out of everything that you try to do, it really was not he was just a bad person. He was a horrible person. And, you know, one of those where, you know, they pretend they're one way, but then once you get married, I mean, it's like a light switch. Super sweet, very supportive, you know, right there and blah, blah, blah. And then on the honeymoon, bam, it switched. But by that point, you're like, okay, I'm in it now. I can't just leave, you know, then the guilt. So yeah, that type of thing. And, you know, when we would go, like I was doing a concert in the park for, I think it was either 4th of July or 9/11. I can't remember. It was one of those 2 days. So the news came out. I don't even know how they found out, about it. Maybe they just stopped by, but the news came by and they're like, hey, can we do an interview for tonight's news? And I was, you know, because we had just finished and I was help putting the equipment away and everything. And so he comes up and he's like, you know, news guy, there was me and somebody else. I can't remember who was there. Somebody who was helping me, right? They're like, he's like, can one of you two go talk to them? You know, because they want to interview somebody for the news tonight. And so I'm like, well, okay, I'll go talk to him. And so I go over there and, you know, they do their little interview, right, for the news. And then I go back when it's over and he's like, you just can't help it, can you? You just have to be out there in the spotlight. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? Yeah, so this is the thing I'm talking about. And then, so during one of the competitions, I had won regional and we were going to the next step. And so at the end, you know, they're handing out stuff and it was all piled like on these stairs and there's like 100 people, 50 people, and nobody could get to it. And I was at the stairs right by everything. So I'm just like, you know what? I'm here. So I picked up a name, I called, so we just handed it, right? So everybody could get their stuff. And it was the same thing. He's like, you just had to be in the middle of that, didn't you? You just wanted all the attention. I'm like, I'm helping people. God, is it so hard to help somebody?
That's some insecurity going on there. Holy.
Yeah, this is the person he was. And that was him being nice. So, you know,
wow. Sorry to hear that,
like,
man.
No.
But at least he didn't kill your creativity. I love, like, that's something he didn't
almost
take.
did, though. I mean, that was it. Almost did. It almost destroyed so much of who I was. And then I'm like, I can't let him win.
Right. But it creates that love-hate thing, right? Where it's like you love music, but at some of those points, it's kind of associated with that bad person. Kind of the same thing with me, with childhood, with wrestling, Like there was that love, I love wrestling, but it's hard to separate it from some of the bad things that happened in my childhood from it. But in the end, music won. You still did some great songs. You may still
Absolutely.
do some great songs later on, and I'm still watching wrestling. So, it did not stop us. Those evil thoughts, those dark clouds that came in, we're still moving on here. We're
That's
still
right.
pressing on.
That's a huge thing, man. It really is. Like so many people give up, right? And it upsets me when I hear that because people have their like creativity taken out or whatever it may be. But because for the purposes of this conversation, I'll say creativity, and they never get that spark back. And so when I hear people like Catherine and you, Greg, and going through like these traumas and stuff like that, and it doesn't, it almost did, but almost is a big word. It didn't. You still found a way to not let it, and that's what we need more stories of. There's enough dark stories out there that we could sit here for hours and continue talking about it. But I like hearing these stories of perseverance. I think that's inspiring. That's what people need to hear, and that there is these dark moments. We all have them, and we all have dark thoughts, and we struggle, and we're just the shadow work I call it, where you confront these things and you face them head on, and there is light at it after that, but you have to have the will to kind of power through it. So it's
Yeah. And
Yeah.
what I miss the most, especially about doing concerts at either colleges or high schools, especially the Christian high schools. I still see these girls, because there was, I had like 2 or 3 songs that dealt with childhood trauma, we'll put it that way.
Mhm.
And they're popular radio songs. One was Amy Grant, one was oh geez, I can't remember. But anyway, so at the end, and when I would do these songs, I would give stories, like to relate, saying, here, okay, you guys aren't, if there's anybody here, which odds are there's somebody's here who's going through that. So I'm like,
Mhm.
here's kind of my story, a little bit of my story. So then at the end, they would come up and there would be a line of girls waiting to talk to me, to tell me their story.
Mhm.
And they would just be like, thank you so much. I'm so glad you understand. That's what I miss. I miss being able to connect with those young girls who were either still going through something or had gone through something.
Yeah.
And yeah, it touched my heart.
Yeah, and I hear that a lot from musicians. Like you'll hear because I watch a lot of musician interviews, and they'll usually the person interviewing will be like, "Do you remember like what are some of your fond memories?" And most of the musicians will be like somebody that they met at a meet and greet or a signing, or somebody that just came up to them on the street and said like one of their songs or something that they said changed their whole life to the point where some people have some pretty dark thoughts where they might want to not be here anymore, and then they hear this artist and they hear this song and it changes their whole life. And I can't imagine the power of that. Like that's really touching people.
It
And
and that's what music does. And
yeah.
now that you're talking about that, one of the concerts, we used to do concerts in the park like almost like twice a month every summer, just free concerts. And I still remember I was closing out with the national anthem, and this old guy, homeless, you could tell he was homeless, but he had like fatigue pants on, right? He was just grubby. And he comes up and then he starts saluting, and he just stood there and just like tears are coming down his face. And so when it got done, I had to go talk to him. I'm like, oh my gosh. So he was waiting, and so we finished off and everything. And so I made my way down and I went to go talk to him. I'm like, are you okay? And he's just like, he goes, thank you so much. And then he tells me about his time in the service, and how much that song meant to him, because it reminded him of better times and a time where he had camaraderie and he wasn't alone.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Wow. And those are powerful stories.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it's incredible. I love music for that. I talk about it so much on my show. about the power of music. I really do think it's the language of the soul, and I can't think of many things that can elicit a reaction that quick. The only thing I think might compare is smell, maybe that can trigger something so powerful. But for me, music, there's just something about that music that hits you at that soul level, and I do think that it's the language of the soul. I say it all the time, at least for me. I
I
mean,
agree. I really do.
it's powerful. Is Greg still with us, or Jesus? Or Greg, you better be there.
No, I'm still here. I'm still here. I was just thinking how powerful music is because
Where's your face?
I can't because I got
Oh,
children
okay.
here.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I
But
figured that's why. Yeah.
But no, I was thinking about how powerful music is and how we hear a lot about this, and I believe that this is true. That there's brainwashing. The music can be very brainwashing, but at the
Sure.
same time, the right music, the good music, just like and that's what I was. That's why I was so fascinated with Catherine with the song that you put up there because this is a powerful Christian song. This is a powerful song about Jesus. It is well within my soul. And music has, and Rick knows this too, such a powerful influence on anything and everything. Yes, it can be used for bad.
Mhm.
It can be used to brainwash you, but that doesn't mean that all music is bad.
Right.
There's some great music out there, and some of the best songs out there, obviously, should be focused around Jesus Christ. That's what I've found. That's what I found, and so where we have so much of this music, and you look at if you were to go right now and look at what is on the top 40 songs right now, probably not going to find a Christian song. You're probably not going to find that. And if you have people who say, hey, what is your favorite Christian song, what is the favorite song that you hear in church, it's probably not going to be on any top 40 or anything like that.
Yeah.
And the question is why. The question I would have is why. There's some powerful songs out there, and there's some new songs that I've never heard that sometimes my church plays. And I was always a person where, like, I always felt like the music should be separate from the actual service. And I still am kind of like that, but there's still some songs. There's some songs, some Christian songs out there that really bring me to tears, and it's so powerful. And I have tried to make some songs like that, and it just never happened. It's not gonna happen. But there are some very powerful songs out there. But what I've learned is how powerful music is.
Mhm.
And even if it's not a song that, every verse is about Jesus, the chorus is all about Jesus, even then there's many songs that I have heard that still brings me closer to him, brings me closer to God. Music has a very powerful influence on all of us. It's a great tool, and it's a dangerous tool because it's about how we use it. So as somebody that writes music or writes their own music or does their own songs, you really need to understand. This is one of the things that I learned. You need to understand the power of music and how that you can influence other people to do good things or to do bad things, because there have been songs that I have listened to that made me angry and made me want to do bad things.
Oh, wow.
And then there's a lot of songs that I listen to that make me want to do good things.
Mhm. Yeah. It's true, man. That's the power of music. I think about, like, music has probably been around since we could bang rocks on the ground and whack a stick on a tree and stuff like that. That's how ingrained it is.
Well, and for those of us who believe in Bible and creation, I mean, the scriptures talk about, Lucifer. I think it's the scriptures, but how he was really kind of like the father. He was given the gift of music.
That's his jam. Yeah.
So I mean, it goes way beyond music. And I'm not saying it's bad because he was, but you know what I mean? It's like, it's always been, it's just a part of who we are, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, the one song that always gets me is Hallelujah, but it's done by the Pentatonics, and I don't know what it. If you haven't heard of them, Greg, you got to check them out, man. They're so good at singing, and there's a group of them, and it's all done with voice, and they got another guy that does like beatboxing in behind. It's so good, and so look up Pentatonics Hallelujah, and if I play that, I get upset all the time from that song. There's just something in the way they sing it that just hits me. And it's just their voices. It's just them making their own beats, like like the one guy, and they do their own sound effects and stuff like that. It's incredible when you hear what they do. I'm just like, wow, it's so inspiring, and they're so talented.
Yeah, that's actually, I think that's one of the only songs I like of that. And it's the female. Her voice when she does most of the songs,
Isn't
it
it
just hits
amazing?
something, and I'm like, oh my God,
Yep.
please tell her to shut up. But with that, and I just can't. But the guys, I mean, in that song though, like you said, Hallelujah, it's like beautiful,
Yep.
absolutely beautiful.
Yep. All done with their voice, and I'm just like, God, that's so talented and inspiring once again to kind of hear that. And yeah, I love music. I do, and I agree with Greg. It can be done. You got to be careful. It's like anything else. It can be used for good, and it can be used for bad. And it's like everything else. It's
Mhm.
you got to be conscious of what energy you're putting into it. I guess is a good way to look at it.
Yeah,
There you
I'm
go.
scared. I'm scared to play it because I know what may happen here.
Yeah,
But I
that
think
one's probably copyrighted.
probably copyrighted. Yeah,
Yeah,
but
but definitely
cool.
check it out, Greg. When we're done, you're gonna love it. I mean, I don't know. I mean, people do tons of reaction videos to music, so I don't know how they're getting around it.
Well, because you play a little bit and then you talk, but you
Yeah,
don't do the whole thing.
yeah.
And yeah,
It's like that's a
they're
great.
I
really, I'm
Yeah, I
sorry.
could try. I mean, if you guys want to end this here, I could try to play a couple minutes of it, or
Yeah, you can if you want to put it
30
on. Yeah,
seconds.
the Panatalk, sure. If you want to end it, yeah, because I gotta get up and move a bit, man. My ass is so numb right now. I've been sitting doing radio before I did this, guys.
Oh,
Please,
that's right. You've got
yeah,
to be exhausted.
yeah, exactly. But I love this. I'm so grateful. Thank you, Catherine, for coming back and doing this with me, and Greg for providing the platform. And yeah, I really enjoyed this. It was a lot of fun.
No, thank you, Rick, for helping me promote the book. You were
Absolutely, I'm here for you.
appreciated. Thanks.
All right, Greg, fired it up,
All right, I'm gonna play about 30 seconds of this,
and
and
then we'll talk.
hopefully we'll talk a little bit about it. Okay, here we go. See how far we get.
So beautiful.
So beautiful, and every local choir, every college has some of those acoustic people that can do this, and it's never ending. And the Bible tells us that we're going to be praising Him. We're going to be sitting there and praising Him and worshiping Him. For me, it gives me a sense of what that may look like, what that may be like, and how awesome is it to just listen to this music, cry it out, and thank Him, and to be with Him. This is what this reminds me of. I never really liked church music when I went to church, but the older that I get, the more that changes. What are you guys' thoughts on that song?
I love it. That's why I recommended it.
Yeah,
It'll break me. If it catches me at the wrong time, it'll break me. There's a few songs that do that, and I don't know. There's something about it, and the way they do it. That it was like Catherine saying, like the female singer. Oh my god, like they're so good at what they do.
it's just beautiful. I mean, there's no other word for it.
Yeah. So there you go. But I'm done, Greg. I've done like 5.5 hours, man.
I think we're done here. Hey, thank you both. I really appreciate you both for coming here, and this is gonna make everything a lot easier for the Saturday show, which Rick is on Amherst Island Radio. So if you don't know what Amherst Island Radio is, you're about to know exactly what that is here. We Rick is on there every Saturday night, and he's he's doing some amazing shows. He's got what do you have, Rick? 3 shows? 4
Yeah,
shows?
3 shows. Yeah, 3 shows. They're trying to get a 4th out of me, and I'm like, nope. I'm doing 3 at Revolution Radio, and then I'm doing the local one, and I think that's enough. And it's cool, Catherine, because you're going to be on local radio this
Oh,
Saturday.
thank you. Yay. It's kind of exciting.
Yep. And yeah, it's cool. Yeah, and I couldn't do it without Greg either. Greg is helping me with editing and doing the ads and the bumpers and all these cool things. And yeah, thank you so much, Greg, because I really couldn't do it without you. That's just true. I
All right.
definitely appreciate
Catherine, any final words before we sign off here?
No, I just can't thank you guys both enough. And thank you, Rick. It was fantastic. Even if we had to redo it, it was fantastic. Thank you,
I
guys.
know. You're welcome. It was awesome. I'll have you back. Absolutely.
Okay.
And thank you, Greg.
Thank you, Rick. Rick, any final thoughts? Any final?
No, I'm
Words?
good, man. What more thoughts do you want out of me? Holy smokes. Coming, I guess my thoughts could be please go to my YouTube channel, Crypt Ricks I've been thinking, and sub and do all those things. I always hate saying that, but hey, that's the game YouTube plays, so we got to play by what they want. So yeah, I guess go over there and if you like video interviews, then subscribe and please check out Catherine's channel and do the same thing. Check out Greg's, and yeah, I'll be back tomorrow night on Revolution Radio for my music show. Crypt Ricks actually it's Crypt Ricks Music Rock and Roll Hour, and it's from 7 till 8 p.m. in Studio B. Just go to revolution.radio. There you go. I'm tapping.
There you go. All right, everybody. Thank you so much. I will be in contact with both of you very soon. God bless you all. Remember, Jesus Christ loved you, and so do I. Good night. Bye-bye.